Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatye Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Smadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smruti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Lokashankaram Samastajana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Om Sri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha Om Sri Tapona Sishyaya Namaha Hari Om. Now we will start the Shanti Patha of the Ishavasya Upanishad. It is now shown. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let me chant again. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So last week we had given a very quick introduction of the word Upanishad and also what are the qualifications required to understand through Sravana, Manana, and Nitidhyasana. As preparatory, we said Karma Yoga, also Pancha Mahayajnas, and also some values in life. So these things prepare us by giving discipline and purity. With that purity, if we also do Shravana, which we are doing now, and Manana, reflection, and Nitidhyasana. Nitidhyasana means owning that. Then we will actually evolve into the teaching of the Upanishad. See, usually there are 5 obstacles that prevent us from realizing the message of Vedanta. Those obstacles are Prajnanandham Kutarkascha Viparyaya Duragraha. Vishayasaktirityetam Jnane Pratibandhakaha. A lot of people listen to this, but then they don't seem to make a lot of progress. And the reason for that is 5 possible defects. Prajnanandhyam, not really getting the message of the Vedanta. They are blinded to so much by the ignorance that they don't expand to own the vision. So they don't have the required capacity or purity to develop that, to own that knowledge. So Prajnanandhyam, you listen here, but it goes away through that here. Nothing stops here. Kutarkascha. Kutarka means negative thinking. Not only negative thinking, but justifying by inappropriate logic. That logic is actually counterproductive for our own growth. So a lot of people we see in the satsang groups, they make statements, but they don't really stand up to that even themselves. But they are only interested in derailing the discussion. They don't even realize they are doing that. Kutarka, that's called Kutarka. Kutarka. Viparyaya Duragraha. Viparyaya means thinking exact opposite. The Vedanta teaches you are the consciousness, pure existence being, unbroken. But Viparya means you are so convinced I am the body, you are so attached to the sentiment of the body and mind, you cannot expand, can let go. Vedanta says this is an appearance in you, but you don't have that, cannot even grasp the 1% of the intuitively also you cannot grasp. Then duragraha. Duragraha means you start thinking, what does he know? I heard a lot of these people, bigger people than this. You think you already know everything, but you don't know anything. That is duragraha. Your agraha means taking up, owning up. Owning something wrong, but not the message. That gives you actually counterproductive. Then Vishaya Sakti, this is the biggest problem. Vishaya Sakti. The Vedanta constantly keeps on telling us, you are that infinite, ever present, changeless, eternal being. You are that now. But then, in order to have that sense, you have to attend the classes regularly. You also have to reflect upon it when you are free. And then you can experience that when you are in open space many times. But you are not interested in that. When you are free, your time is spent in gossip or WhatsApp messages, whatever, but your mind is never free from objects. Vishaya Sakti is also biggest obstacle in owning the Vedanta Shastra as you. It remains as a far, paroksha it remains. Never, you can never own it. But it is very easy if you watch your experience and say, without me, my experience is not there. Then who is that me? That is, I am the illuminer of the experience. Then you drop the experience, you remain as the illuminer. And you own that. That illuminer is not conditioned by time and space. What is illumined is conditioned by time and space. Because what is illumined is mental. What is illumining is like light. In the light, everything passes through, but light is unchanged. In the same way, in the Chaitanya Swarupa of us, is that in which our mind generates vrittis. Vrittis means thoughts or feelings, emotions. And these are our mind is only on the vrittis, then the Atman just remains as a support, as witness. And you only got up in vritti. So Vishaya Sakti means vritti. Vritti means consciousness plus objects or feelings or perception, whatever you call it. So that is my Vishesha. The moment our consciousness becomes only the illuminer of your ideas and thoughts and perceptions, then you don't know about consciousness. You only know about the Vishayas. So Vishaya Sakti Rityate Jnane Pratibandhakaha. So if you understand why I am not able to sustain the teaching, is because of Vishaya Sakti. 90% of the people who attend the classes, they are really well prepared because they continuously attend the classes, but they have to gradually allot time of the day for meditation. As I have explained in the past, owning your trueness like space and experience that, feel it, and drop the ideas, thoughts. Don't keep on grinding them. Then slowly you understand this actually, the messages that I'm teaching becomes as though you are talking to yourself after some time. It happens. Now, this is the pratibandhaka. We need to be careful against these, Vishaya Sakti and all these things. Now this background, now I will explain the Shanti Patha, which I already chanted twice. It has a Purna Madaha, means that is, the Adaha means that. That is complete. Purnam adaha, that is complete. Purnam idaha, this is complete. Jiva is also complete. Anything other than Jiva is that. Jiva itself, as it is idaha, this idam. Purnam idaha. Two sentences. Purnat Purnam udachyate. From the total fullness, the small thing has born. Third sentence. Purnasya Purnamadaya. Purnamevava sishyate. This is the fourth sentence. If from the total fullness, if you remove the other fullness, it's not removing. If you only remove the fullness from these two, that Purnam alone remains. What you think rest drops. I will explain now in more detail. Because this itself has the entire message of the Upanishads. That's why you have to pay attention. It's very important message. See, to make it clear, I would take some examples here and there, particularly the example of the ocean and water. Okay. Ocean and wave. Ocean and wave. That is the example I will take. So, as pure consciousness, being aware, it is complete. That is your peaceful state of mind when there is no agitation. It has no limit. It has no finitude in it. Finitude only comes when the mind arises. Along with the body, mind arises. Along with the mind, body arises, and also the world arises. But when none of these have actually taken hold, as you are in deep sleep or when you just wake up, you are full. Now, in that fullness, the jiva rises. But when he first rises, he is full also. Because that is still awareness only. So, Purnamadam, Purnamidam. That jiva also, it is the amsha of Bhagavan. Mamai Vamsho Jiva Luke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. Bhagavad chapter 50. Chapter 7 also he comes. As a jiva without any individualized conditioning is still Purna only, full. When your mind is not there, you are full. So God is full, you as yourself, at this Swarupa, is a pure being, you are full. So Purnamadaha, Purnamidam. Now what about me with my ideas, with my thoughts, with my particular tendencies? Now, the way the question is asked, my particular tendencies, I said that. Why? Every one of us have individual way of looking at things. That way of looking is called Nama Rupa. So I will give an example to make this point clear. Suppose you have two objects, both of them brown, nice looking. One is gold bar, another is chocolate bar. Both look the same. Now, if you offer to a child who only knows how to use his senses of taste and smell and hands, what would you do? He will first bite both. And then he will drop the gold and keep the chocolate. If you offer to a dog, she would smell both and eat the eatable, not the gold. But as we become mentally conditioned, we obviously, what we select. So it is in the drusti, not in the srusti. Same object being the same thing, dogs see differently. They have some senses are much more developed than us. Cats see differently, whereas we see differently. Among us also, different people see differently. So consciousness, which is illumining your mind, is still the same in all of us. There is no difference. But the mind is different. Because mind is seeing vrittis in the thoughts, in the conditioning. So, so take your own example. You are pure existence, consciousness, presence, pure being. Then you start adding all the names and forms, which are nothing, but they are also additions within consciousness in you. What Vedanta says is, even when you are conditioned, you are still in consciousness only, but you are looking at yourself wrongly. So just like when you see in the dark a post standing, particularly when it is dark, you see somebody as though standing there. And you feel maybe there is somebody hiding there as a thief or as a dacoit. But then you realize it is only a error, then you're not afraid. Vedanta says your consciousness is uncontaminated in itself, in true nature. But what you see in consciousness is your conditioning. Now, listen to this sentence very carefully. What you see in consciousness. Consciousness never changes. Your mind is the one which is seeing within consciousness as a projection of its conditioning. So we are all in consciousness, but what depending upon how you see it, it looks different to you. It's like a projection within a crystal. It's slightly different way of saying it is actually same water, whether it is in the ocean or it is in the wave. Both of them consciousness only. But in the wave, we see the name and form, and in ocean, you see bigness. But reality, the bigness or the smallness, both of them originate in because of water. Big and small is in your mind, nama rupa. But water is the essence. So Purnasya Purnamadaya, sorry, second sentence. Purnat Purna Mudachyate. As water from the oceanic consciousness, an individual consciousness separates, but they are still consciousness. When you remove the names and forms, with the names and forms, it looks different, but it is still consciousness only. Purnat Purna Mudachyate. The totality of consciousness, totality of water, an individual wave has risen. So if you look at it in the name in the mental conditioning with the names and forms, totality of water you call one name as ocean. In this wave, you call it another name as wave, but both of them Purnamidaha, Purnamadam. Both of them are Purnam. Water as water, both of them are Purnam. I will say this slightly differently. Space, let us take space. The space is always full. It cannot be broken. But we see it broken because we are imagining the space is conditioned by the room. Room space, we call it. But it's not. Room space has always been there as this. Before the room was there, after room is demolished, it's still there. In the same way, consciousness, before you compartmentalize, or after compartmentalize, still consciousness only. But then when you add names and forms, that this is a room space. Then you imagine it is born out of total space. Exactly the same way, Purnat Purna Mudachyate. The moment you add names and forms, you think you are born out of God. God is somebody different. No, you are the same. It's a dimensionless space. Water is also dimensionless. As water, it is dimensionless. Whether you take this much water or that much water, still water only. This much and that much is only in the mind. As Swabhava, it is still water. So, in the totality of the water, when you small amount of water is born, we say Purnat Purnam Udachyate. So here you are looking at from the point of view of the names and forms. But essentially it is still same, water only. Consciousness exactly same. When you call it the names and forms, it is still consciousness only. But your conditioning has added names and forms to it. Just like same gold, one of them you call it bangle, another one you call it necklace. But as the Swarupa, it is the same consciousness. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avasishyate. Now, from the limited wave, or the totality of presence, or the total wave, what is the Purnatva in both of them? Water. If you hang on to the water part and drop the names and forms, the names and forms have no reality. Purnameva Vasishyate. Only water remains. In other words, simply speaking, when you are truly in your blissful presence, you have dropped your ideas and thoughts about even consciousness, and you remain. So what you did, perceptions, feelings, and ideas, they're all nothing but consciousness interpreted by you. As interpretations, they are in you. When the interpretations are dropped, consciousness remains. You are in that now. Even body is also interpretation in the mind only. See, mind cannot imagine anything outside of finitude. Mind can only operate in finite within dimensions, small, big, happy, unhappy, beautiful, ugly. It only can operate within the dimensions, polar opposites, likes, dislikes. They're all changing constantly, but it can only operate in those realms of duets, dualities, polar opposites. When you withdraw your attention from those polar opposites, you remain as you are. When you remain as you are, everything appears now in you. You are aware of that. You know now everything is rising in you. You are not that. Rising in your means it is superimposed in you by you, including the body. You are superimposing. Basically, the body space is nothing but the same space. In the space, you compartmentalize yourself as my body space. This is a mental block. As soon as you do that, that becomes different, this becomes different. But the moment this and that are dropped, what remains? Purnam only. So Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avasishyate. So in both these things, only when you take the Purnam out, grab Adaya means you grab and take it. So this also has space in it. Everything else also has space in it. If you only look from the point of view of the space, only space remains. And that is all pervading. Now the question here is, I know in the past one or two of you questioned me, it is very, very um, big jump. No, it's not a big jump. When you drop ideas, including body, mind, intellect, you are already that, like space. It's actually nothing needs to be said anymore after this mantra, because the whole it sets up very nicely the whole Upanishadic teaching. I will repeat this again. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam. Everything is full. This is also full. Purnas Purnamida Purnat Purna Mudachyate. When you identify this is different from that, you imagine this is born out of that. Names and forms. Names and forms includes body definitions, mental definitions, intellectual definitions. When you isolate, so you say, I am born out of that, then you forgot that completely. That just becomes a illuminator, just like light. Now, if in the totality of this and that, if you Purnasya Purnamadaya, if you only grab the fullness in this and fullness in that and separate it out, then they're no different, they're one. Purnameva avasishyate. That's only remains. What we grab is ideas and thoughts. And say, oh, how can I be, how can I be, how can I be the same as that? No, you drop those because they are conditioning. You are not born with them, you are added them. See, I have said this mantra, sloka many times in the past. What you add is not you. What you are always that. So you add a ghost to a post, and that is not real. Understand? What you are is never changes. It's always pure. So you grab so in mathematical terms, it's called dimensionless. When you look at the essence of something, The quantity doesn't matter. Because it's same thing anyway, everywhere. As gold in a bangle or gold in a chain, one of them a different shape, one of them a different name, but essence is the same. Quality is the same, goldness. In the same way, in this limited space, what I own as my body, my feeling, all these things are conditioned in my thinking process. So you just to take your life itself, Bhagavan Shankaracharya in Bhajagovindam, he says beautifully, Balasthavatu Kridasaktaha, Tarunasthavatu Tarinisaktaha, Vruddhastavatu Chintasaktaha, Parame Brahmani Kopinasaktaha. So this space, what I call I, me, mine, all these things within me, they change. Balastavatu Kridasakta. In my own biography, as long as I was 10 years in that Bala stage, Kridasakta. Everything looks like a game. How can I make a fun out of this ball or that pebble, that stick? Everything, soccer ball, football, everything, cricket. So I love to play. Mind is, this is everything. Winning and losing or everything like that. Mind, my same mind, my biography I'm talking about. Everybody. Tarunastavadu taruni sakta. As we grow into middle age and youth, everybody is interested in the opposite sex. Number one priority in life. Same person has changed to what he grabbed, he becomes. When he forgets he has always been free entity behind, then what happens? That free entity just becomes a witness to the mess that we create. So we are superimposing our ideas, our limitations on ourselves, and we forget who we are. The biography doesn't end there. Urdhastavadu chintasakta. As you grow older, now you develop so many experiences in life, everything now haunts you as chinta. What will happen to my grandson? What will happen to my daughter? What will happen to him? What would happen to her? What would happen to me? You constantly ruminate on your own, grind your own fears. You see, everybody, Bhagavan Shankaracharya wrote this at the age of 12. About Then he concludes it, Parame Brahmani Kopina Saktaha. Nobody is interested to know who is that infinite presence and self-aware, pure liberated happiness. Nobody is interested. That's why you are suffering. So this mantra, Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avasishyate. It says if you remove the names and forms, you are right now, you are Purna. Names and forms are what you superimpose. In childhood, you impose games. Middle age, you impose opposite sexual thoughts. Then old age, you are still superimposing worries. But now go back to your true being. Every time, every minute it is possible. Purnameva avasishyate. If you take away the conditioning and names and forms, only fullness is still there because you superimpose on something by mistake. And then what happens? The consciousness illumines that. Whatever you want, it will illumine it. Because that's called freedom of choice. But God gives that. He also says, I am available if you want. Parame Brahmani Kopina. If you are interested, I am available to you. But we are not. That is our limitation. But we can change. That's the Upanishadic teaching is that so powerful. That's what they So we have done Kathopanishad. I remember one of these mantras in Kathopanishad, which are very powerful. I want to quote that here before we move on. It says, Manasa Vedamaptavyam Neha Nanasti Kinchana. Mutyoho sa mutyum gachanti yayiha naneva pashyati. The Kathopanishad, second half, first Valli, 11th mantra. We'll end this. So, Manasa Vedamaptavyam Neha Nanasti Kinchana. Using the same mind, you have to educate it that there's nothing, no multiplicity here. Multiplicity is only ignorance. Na iha, na nasti. Nanatva means multiplicity, is not asti. What is the negative impact of that seeing nanasti? Murtyoha samrityum gacchati yaha iha naneva pasyati. The people that keep on looking at only the changing aspects, which is the mental, physical, and intellectual, only those changing aspects, they keep on going from one death to another death to another death to another death. It means they're constantly having ups and downs in life. See, one thing in Upanishad class, once in a while, you have to be quiet, feel yourself. That's why sometimes I intentionally pause because I feel that myself also. And it is helpful for you guys also to kind of reflect and while you're listening. So in the universe, there are three major principles that we all relate to them. Because Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara. Jiva is individual, Jagat is the universe around us. Ishvara is the one which we consider is remote, which is wrong. He pervades all of it. Anyway, Ishvara. Three, three aspects. Or we can God, we can call it. So out of these three, five differences arise. Those are Jiva and Jiva. I am different from others. I am different from God. This is a normal perception of life. Don't Jiva, Jiva, Jiva and God, and Jiva and Jagat. I am different from Jagat. And then Jagat and Jagat. America versus India. You can call. And Jagat and God. God and God, there are no. God is only one. There are five different. If you understand this particular mantra, Purnamadaha, Purnamidam, all of them are one. Jiva and Jiva also. So when you see others, if you just relate to this pure being, you are always in samadhi. What about me? What about her? What about her past? All of this is mental only. They are always waves only, vrittis only. They are changing, changing time. Like Balastavad, Kridasat, Tarunastavad, like this only. They change. Today you are tomorrow I get some Vairagya and you say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean. All these things is mess. So any differences that we see, these five differences that we see, they all can be neutralized if we have that clarity. Space is one, and conscious space is called Chidakasha, is only one. I gave example of space because we can visualize it, but conscious space is actually the reality. Chid Akash, all pervading, aware presence. Akasha represents presence. Akasha means space, presence. All pervading space is your state when you drop conditioning. It's not alien, it is there now between your thoughts. That is silence. But you have no interest, you have no interest to be peaceful. Kathopanishad, we saw this many times. Withdraw mind, body into mind into intellect, intellect into Mahat. Mahat, pure presence. And then Brahman, Hiranyagarbha. So this is very powerful introduction of so by actually imagine yourself as that pure conscious space, all pervading. You are done. And own it. If I have problems owning it, the five problems I already mentioned, you have to remember them. Practice some slokas from Bhagavad Gita and get them up in your mind. Sankalpa prabhavan kaman त्यक्त्वा सर्वान् शेषतः मनसैवेन्द्रिय ग्रामं विनियम्य समन्ततः. 6th chapter. शनैः शनैः उपरमेत् बुद्ध्या द्रुतिगृहीतया आत्मसंस्थं मनः कृत्वा न किञ्चिदपि चिन्तयेत्. Some slokas like we memorize. The purpose of it is the mind is object of you. You are not your mind. If it's an object, you are not that. Sankalpa prabhavan kaman tyaktva sarvan aseshataha. Bhagavan Krishna. This is 6th chapter. I think it's about some 15th sloka or something like that. Suddenly it came to my mind. That's what I do when I meditate in the morning. Sometimes one chapter of Bhagavad Gita, some sections I take. Manasa Vendriya Griyamam Viniyamya Samantataha. Manasa means mind, along with senses from all directions, Viniyamya. Then Shanai Shanai Uparame Buddhya Dhruti Gruhitaya. Using your intellect, knowledge you have. Vedanta has to appear to you as knowledge that you have in your pocket. Anyway. Atma samstham manakritya, then withdraw into your own being. Nakinchidapi chintaye. There's no need to think anything. Because what you superimpose, you remove it. It's in your hands. If you want it or not. I don't have time. Then you are not really, you don't want it. If you want it, you make some time. Don't you make time to watch gossip? You make time with WhatsApp. Don't you waste time to, you have all kinds of time, but not for you yourself. Now, first mantra, I really want to go through Shankara Bhashya, the introduction for the Ishavasya Upanishad. Shankara Bhashya, Bhagavan Shankaracharya makes some tremendous points. I want to go over it for the benefit of people who might eventually appreciate it when they listen to this. He says, opening sentence, Ishavasya Mityadayo mantraha karmasu aviniyuktaha tesham akarmaseshasya atmano yadhatma prakashakatvat. See, Bhagavan Shankaracharya, when he wrote this commentary, he's probably about 15 years or 16 years old. So basically, he's a kid. He opens this Upanishad with a very, very, very profound statement. Actually, he is actually challenging Purva Mimamsis. Purva Mimamsa means those, now I told in the Vajrasaneya Upanishad, this is called Vajrasaneya Samhita. In that, Ishavasya Upanishad is part of that. Vajrasaneya Samhita has 40 chapters. Ishavasya is the 40th chapter. 39 adhyayas are talk about karma. Now here I have to, very important to know, karma does not mean mere physical actions. In the context of Vedic rituals, it is called ritualistic karma. You do havans, You do Pitru karma, you do the Shraddha karma, you do Bhuta karma, Manushya karma, and you also do Havans. And the purpose of them is to please, to get your desires fulfilled. And you also go to higher worlds after death. Then you stay there for a long, long time. And then you come back to a better, higher family with wealth and all that. So that is the goal of karma. Ritualistic karma. It's not karma yoga per se. Okay. Shankaracharya has no problem with karma yoga, as Bhagavad Gita explains, and then bhakti yoga. And here, these are in sequence. He has no problem with that. But in jnana, when you mix, I want to go to heaven, I want to, I want to enjoy, heavenly objects, then that is mental projections. Sankalpa prabhavan kaman, that desires arising out of the mental superimpositions. He's against that. And he openly is challenging that. Ishavasya mityadayo mantraha, the mantras that are going to come, which will say Ishavasya, the starting sentence. Karmasi aviniyuktaha, they are not used by ritualistic karma. Therefore, tesham akarmaseshasya atmano yadhatma prakashatvat. Therefore, they are actually intended to you to know who you are. Pure being aware, like space, untouched by any thoughts or any actions. Any thoughts of Swarga or rain or children, these are all come under karmic rituals. So he's saying this is purely jnana, nothing to do with activities of mind and hands and society. Drop them. In the challenging, that's those people that follow those 13 chapters. He's saying you are not useful for me in this particular Upanishad. This is pure mental realization. There's no ritualistic sesha involved in this. Sesha means balance left in this. This is unbelievable bhasha. That's why I want to read it. Yadhatmancha atmanaha suddhatva apapaviddha apatva ekatva nityatva asiritva sarvagatatyadi vakshamanam. Do you know why I'm saying this? Bhagavan Shankaracharya is saying, it is going to say in this Upanishad itself, Yadhatmancha Atmanaha. The Atma is described as such, as Suddha, as pure. Apapa, it has no sins. Ekatva, it is oneness, all pervading oneness. Nityatva, changeless. Asariratva, it has no limitedness. Sarvagatatva, it is all pervading. Adi Vakshamanam, that is not is going to be saying in future. So it has, if it is Sarvagatatva, what is the action there? You have no action there. You are always already there, everywhere. The moment you drop your limitations in thought, you become everything. So he is saying that because he's going to be saying that this has no karmic aspect in this. Like doing this and getting that, doing this, getting that. This kind of what do you call it, transactional rituals is not in this. Is openly denying that. Tacha karmana virudhyeta iti yuktaha eva esham karmasu aviniyogaha. Such essential, all-pervading being has no separateness for karma. Karma requires a doer and doing. Jnana has no parts like that. Because it's asarvagata, asuddha, suddha, ekatva. Because of all that, it has no duality there. Nahi evam lakshanam atmanah yadhatmyam utpadyam vikaryam apyam samskaryam katru bhoktru rupam va yena karma seshata syat. Then he's saying, if action has to be done, there are four results that are possible out of action. What are they? Utpadyam, you create something. You want to go to heaven, so you do some karma, do some rituals. He's attacking rituals, by the way. He's not attacking karma. Karma means nishkam karma and all that. He has no problem with that. Bhagavad Gita and all that he can. But this is ritualistic in jnana. Combining them, he's saying there is a fundamental problem. You're pulling yourself down. So karma has utpadyam. You create something, like you want to create heaven, or you want to grow a plant. You plant a seed and then you grow. The utpadyam. So karma fundamentally is used for four purposes. Utpadyam, to grow something, or vikaryam, to modify something. So I add some yogurt into warm milk, it becomes into yogurt. Vikaryam means change. Vikaryam. Apyam, you grow, you get something from go to market and get it. That is action. That is apyam. That is third type of it. Samskaryam, you take something and improve it. You modify that. So you take rice paddy and then you beat it up and then make dal and then rice to eat. The samskaryam. These four results are possible by karma. This is what karma is into. Sarvasam Upanishadam Atma Yadhatma Nirupanena Upakshayat. All the Sarvasa all the teachings of Upanishad in proving karma, Atma as is. Atma as is. Okay, I defined what Atma is. Sarvagata, Sukma, Suddha, Ekatva, Asarira. He already defined. Atma in a word, simple language, if you want to define the technical language is Asamanta Tanuti iti Atma. That which pervades all. Self. So he is saying everything, all the teaching in this Upanishad ends in that declaration. So it has no karma in it. Tasmat Atmanaha Katrutva Bhogutvadicha Asubhatva Papavidhattvadicha Upadaya the multiple people in the world. Okay. So what the Upanishad is saying is numerous people in this world, fortunately, consider themselves to be limited, sinful, and then they're considering themselves Buddhist, and then actions are necessary to improve ourselves. This kind of common people. So seeing that are actually prescribed to people. They are not prescribed for jnana. So if you take pure knowledge, don't look at the point of view of the karma, looking at it as a pure presence, existence, awareness, being, dropping your conditioning. So he's saying those who think themselves as limited beings, like I'm Brahmin, I'm ready to do rituals, I'm qualified, Let them do it, but they are not for karma, for not for jnana. They're only for attain. Okay. Tasmat etek mantah आत्मनः यथा प्रकारेण अज्ञानं निवर्तयन्तः शोकमोहादि संसार धर्म विच्छित्त साधनम् आत्मैकत्वादि विज्ञानम् उत्पादयन्ति इति एवम् उक्त अधिकार्य अभिभेद संबंध प्रयोगक्षेपतः व्याख्यास्यामः. So summarize it saying that therefore for people who are interested to know who they are as they are, adhatma prakasan atma vishayam swabhavikam, that as you are, swabhavikam means gold as such, not as ornament which is in your mind, not in gold. To remove your superimposition, which is ajnana, this particular commentary is being by me. I already told you who are qualified for this, and it's sadhana chatushtaya it is called. For the, before we sadhana chatushtaya, I just want to make sure I'm not using the wrong words. Sometimes you get confused. Sorry, not anubandha chatushtaya. Sadhana chatushtaya is different. Only anubandha chatushtaya it is called. Anubandha chatushtaya means who are this? All he is that those who are not interested, that I'm limited being, but I want to get out of this. That for them is Hari. Then Vishaya, what is Vishaya? That awareness you are that infinite presence. Vishaya. And Prayojana. Prayojana means you get that, but if you practice this Upanishad, you achieve that infinite presence as you are. Sambandha. Sambandha is that connection between these three. Adhikari, Vishaya, Prayojana. That connects all these three all these four be fulfilled. It is not meant for those who are interested in moksha or going higher heaven, not moksha, wrong word, attaining worlds or children or getting money, Treshana, killed children, having more prosperity, and the ritualistic part is what is required. First 39 adhyayas. Whereas this particular section is for Atma Jnana, for only those who want to know who you are. And I am going to write commentary on that in that angle. Conclude the Upanishad introduction. So next week we will take the first mantra. Very famous mantra, Ishavasya Upanishad Sarvam, Yatkinchit Jagatyam Jagat, Tena Taktena Bhujitaha, Magutak Kasisvid Dhanam. I will next will project it and go over each. In fact, some great scholars have said the whole Hinduism. So, so we'll see. Om Purnamadaha Purnamit Purnat Purnamachite Purnasya Purnamadaya Ameva Vashyate Om Shanti Harihi Om Sri Guru Bhyo Namaha Harihi Om.